सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are in the middle of a section. We just started a section called Niranjana Panchashatkam, 50 verses on how the Atma is free of all the things one takes the Atma to be. And this is a section on Nididhyasana. The author feels comfortable introducing this section because the author says that it is very much, we have finished 16 sections, 16 chapters, and so now one is ready for a little bit of Nididhyasana. And what is Nididhyasana? It's some kind of a meditative, contemplative verses that help with going over what has already been studied. So it's not anything new. What has already been studied, whatever is already there, what has been studied is the one that is being revised in a sense. Revised for what? Revised so that the what is that called? There is so that there is not a viparita bhavana. Viparita bhavana means certain orientation, long-standing, deep-rooted orientations that make the assimilation of the knowledge. The knowledge is there, but it refuses to come sit and have a cup of tea. That is the problem. Why? Because there are orientations that come in the way. There are orientations, there are certain, what are orientations? Long held beliefs. One, part A of orientations. And then part B of orientation is the ensuing behavior from those long held beliefs, which are misunderstandings about the I, about Aham, Atma. So, even though in the series of classes, one can say, I am Satchidananda, I am Satchidananda. I am Satchidananda. Then after class, you go make yourself some hot water, very nice to drink before bed. Some nice hot water you want. And then what? Little spills over the hand. And that's okay to have a reaction because obviously there is some hurt and everything. We are not talking of the initial reaction because that is, what is that called, That is karmajam. That reaction is karmajam. Karmajam is based on one's karma because that hot water had to hit somebody, may as well be you. So this is some karma. And then there is janmaja from birth itself because there is some connection to the body. So if you get a little scalded by the hot water, the neighbor is not going to scream. You are the one going to scream. And so that is also, that is also a setup. These are all Ishvara Srishti. But then the Jiva Srishti is these things only happen to me. Or what is this a sign of? Somebody actually asked me this. Somebody said, what does this mean that I got burned today? And I said, that's because that way you don't have to get burned tomorrow. You're done with it today. One karma gone. What else to say? Now, what does this mean? What is the spiritual significance of this? Ayo, where to go with this? If everything, the door is locked and I can't find the key, I'm scrambling in the bag. What does it mean? What is the spiritual significance of the door being locked? Unlock the mind. That's what it is. Unlock proper thinking. That's the spiritual significance. So if like this, you get caught up in all this. These are all the ways in which the natural ability and the latent potential to rest back and just be, to just allow things to just, roll off. Here we hold on so tight, and you don't just allow things to just drop off, roll off, roll off, roll off, roll off. And there is great, there is a great sense of freedom in allowing this roll off. You know why? Because when we allow these things to roll off, then there is space to abide in what really, really matters. There is space to abide, there is space to enjoy, there is just life is a lot easier if we don't start to obsess about each and everything that is happening. Why this happened? Why did this not happen? Why me? What is all this? This is the Bhranti. And that Bhranti comes from just a certain beliefs and habits that translate into patterned behavior. That is what this whole section of 50 verses is attempting to dislodge, shake up. Okay, so the first four verses we have done, the fourth one was very amusing, if I remember correctly. And what was that? Gunaihi nibadhoham, I am bound. Why? Samsare samsaramyaham. In samsara, I keep moving. I keep samsare samsaramyaham means in this samsara, I move according to its rules. And what are its rules? Lot of give and take, lot of obligations. You scratch my back and I will scratch your back. Lot of celebrations in which other people's celebrations in which you are supposed to participate. And then what? Nobody comes to your celebration. That's part of the thing. Nobody comes, okay? And then, so this is all this. So in this samsara, I am baddha. I have a notion of bondage because of which I go around in circles and I follow the rules of samsara thinking that it's going to make me happy, make me a well-adjusted person. But that's far from the truth. Going according to the rules of samsara does not make you a well-adjusted person. What does it make you? A miserable person. Because all the time you're doing things you're not supposed to do. When all the time you're doing things that you don't want to do. All the times you're participating in things that are inimical to your growth and your natural tendency. Your natural tendency says, sit back quietly, be with yourself. But samsara says, come out and play, come out and play. Okay, I'll go a little bit and play. But then what? Then that little bit, then samsara starts playing you. First, you think you're playing with samsara, then very soon it starts playing you. Then you say, how did I land up here? What is the spiritual significance of, of pouring hot water on my hand? This is what happens. And so here, this is prakrita bhava. Prakrita means not well interrogated. These are all just, this is just the is not well interrogated. Two meanings, prakruta bhavaha. First meaning you can say is, we'll see that the other meaning first, because that makes the most sense. Grammatically, prakritehe iyam prakritam. So that which is born of Prakriti. Prakriti is Maya. What is Maya? Ishvara. So this is all Ishvara Srishti. Like that, the one who is able to just let it go, that is the one that is on the right road here, right path. But then the person is not able to let it go, and that is the problem. And then, so therefore, what? So therefore, this is samsare, samsaramyaham, the person says. And then the second meaning of prakrita is not very well researched or interrogated. Just like the animalistic reactions to situations versus the measured human responses because of the buddhi, because of the ability to be able to have that discernment, and that discernment is not there. So this is what we saw. So now verse 5, 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10 are interrogating Svam Pada Vichar, various things that I believe to be me, but they are not part of what the Upanishads and what the Bodhasara calls I. They're not part of the Atma, and we have seen this in other places in detail. So it will allow us to go, hopefully, a little faster. Verse number 5. Mano buddhyahankara चित्तं चैति चतुष्टयम् अन्तःकरणजा भाव आत्मा शुद्धो niranjanaha. So this is the famous famous four, Chatushtayam. Oh, Sadhana Chatushtayam? No, it's a group of another four. Manaha, mind. Buddhi. And then Ahankara and Chittam, also collectively known as mind. And so these four, Chatushtayam, this group of four, Antahkaranaja, this is born of what is called the inner instrument. This is part of one's inner psyche. So Manaha, and he's going to explain what each one is. That's why I don't have to do it here. So Manaha, the mind, that the meaning, in other words, the vacillating faculty called the mind. Buddhi, the Nishchayatmika, the faculty that is decisive. Intellect. Buddhi means intellect. Then ahankara. Let's take Chittam first. Ahankara we'll take afterwards. Chittam, the emotive faculty. And why ahankara comes last is because the one who says, this is me, and owns up the body, mind, sense complex and the emotions as I, that is called ahankara, the I notion. This group is just a what is it called, the offshoot of whatever is the group of four called the mind. It's just an offshoot of that. It is not Atma. What is Atma? Shuddha Niranjana. The Atma is that which is free of all kinds of problems and which is free of mind and free of body. Free of body we already saw. Free of mind, free of ahankara, free of chittam, free of buddhi. This is easier said than done to assimilate, but at least it's nice to think about it. Because as soon as, whatever the beliefs are, as soon as one sees one belief and one subscribes to that belief, then one becomes extremely intolerant of other beliefs, and then the other person is espousing their own beliefs and are intolerant of your beliefs, and this goes to have a lot of various consequences, all kinds of consequences, all kinds of problems are there, and then wars are there, fights are there, all these things keep coming, and so therefore this is just a property of what is called antakarna, the inner instrument, which is part of this body mind sense complex. And who am I? The indweller of this body mind sense complex, who is free of all impressions, who is free of thinking, feeling, vacillating, and feeling proud, etc. All these properties. Now, each one he is going to take in detail, starting with the manaha. Let us see. यच्च सङ्कल्प्यते पूर्वं सङ्कल्प्य च विकल्प्यते यच्च सङ्कल्प्यते पूर्वं सङ्कल्प्य च विकल्प्यते एते मनोभवा भावा आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः एते मनोभवा भावा आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः yat cha, furthermore, that which yat is neuter and it goes with manas. So manaha, yan manaha. So yat manaha, yan manaha, that mana which sankalpyate purvam. So first it decides something. I think I will go do this. It decides. And then later on, not later on means soon after. Soon after what happens? It says, no, 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 no. Not happening. I'm not going to do this. So, Purvam Sankalpya, having decided, it gives up that decision. So first it decides. It says, oh, I'm going to do this. All right. And then after that, what does it do? It says, no, no, no. Bad idea. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to study Vedanta. Why? All my friends are doing it. Sounds like a wonderful idea. Here I come. And then what? Hello, ashram, here I come. And then what? No AC room available. Oh, no, no, no. I am gone. What's I'm gone. What are you talking about? Somebody is coming. I'm not going to just sit here. I'm gone. So for whatever reason, sankalpyate, and then sankalpya, having decided, does not keep up with the decision. And this is a small, this is not small, but still, this is a personal decision. This is, a personal decision that impacts you only, of course, in a very big way, but still it's a personal decision. But sometimes the decision impacts other people as well. You say, okay, we are going to do this together. And then soon after that, you bail out and then it affects everybody else. But this is the nature of the mind. Fickle, kshanika, okay, chanchala. Then ete manobhava bhava. Manasaha jayate manobhava. Manasaha bhavati. It is an offshoot of this is how the mind is. That's why Pujya Swamiji would always say, do not make the mind into a whipping boy. Don't do that. Because the mind is not the problem. The mind is how it is. It's like a butterfly. It just goes. And then it sees something, it lands on that flower, then it changes its mind, flits away, goes on another flower, flies away somewhere, comes back, goes in circles, and then comes back. This is what the butterfly does. You can't sit in front of the butterfly and say, choose one flower, sit right there and let me give you Om Namah Shivaya Mantra Diksha, and you are supposed to sit and meditate. By the time you say this, it would have already gone, okay? And so the mind is exactly like that. Mind is exactly like that. And in the famous complaint of Arjuna, we see that in the 6th chapter. And what does he say? He complains that the mind does not stay. Mind cannot stay, mind does not stay. And why does it not stay? It cannot stay because it is just like the wind. He says, you asked me to meditate. Oh Krishna, you're asking me to meditate. And here, now I find that if you had asked me to grab a fistful of air and bring it to you, that would have been far easier a task than sitting and meditating. Pramadhi, chanchalam, and adridam. This is how he describes the mind. Stubborn, always falling and making mistakes. And then the mind is fickle. Lord Krishna agrees. Chanchalam himana Krishna. Yes, first he says that, yes. He says, asamshayam mahabahu. Manas chanchalam adridam. Yes, no doubt. Asamshayam. There is no doubt in that. The mind is like this. But you are not the mind. You, meaning here, the ahankara backed by consciousness, backed by that ahankara, the self-aware ahankara, can get into the place of the witness, which is very, very close to the nature of the Atma, and that you can with abhyasa. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Mind is slowly brought into a certain way of being with discipline, abhyasa, repeated practice. Just like going to the gym, after one session, you cannot expect to look like one of those bodybuilders, six-pack abs, and all these things, biceps, triceps. That takes a long time. You can't say the gym doesn't work. I'm not going because when I come out, I'm not looking like these fellows. What do you have to do? Go again. And then after 1 month, one small, tiny muscle will come. Okay, that is how it is. and then the older one is, the longer it takes for the muscle to slowly come out and play. And then what? Oh, I don't feel well. I think I'm having the flu. So 1 week you don't go, and then the muscle disappears. Not fair. But that's how, that is exactly how it is. That is exactly how it is. And then instead of the muscle, you have just kind of flabby flesh. What is that? Only dictated by gravity. Everything saggy and flabby. That is what happens. And so the mind is also like that. And this saggy mind, one can discipline. But as one is disciplining, one understands I am not the mind. Atma Shuddho Niranjana Ete Manobhava Bhava. This is how the mind is. I'm not going to beat it up. I'm going to discipline it very gently, very easily. Next one. Idamitham, idane. Idanethamiti, idamitham, nischiyate tu yat. No, I think iti nischiyate should have been our pada. Idamitham, idamnetham, iti nischiyate tu yat. Sahi buddhimayo bhavah आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः इदमित्थम् इदनेत्थम् इति निश्चीयते तु यत् स हि बुद्धिमयो भावः आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः idam ittham. Ittham means in this manner. Idam na ittham. Idanetham. So, idam na ittham. Na ittham means this is not like that. The discernment. Things that appear are not the reality. You start with the rear view mirror. In every rear view mirror of the car, the side rear view mirrors, what is written? Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. So, idam, itham. It looks like this, but no, 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 it's closer. So that car looks to be, looks to be at least two car length behind me, and I can very quickly zip into the next lane. But no, no, no. When you read what is written there, objects are closer than they appear. So idam netham. This is the buddhi's discrimination. No, I can't go over here. I have to wait for that vehicle to pass. I can't just change the lane right now. It is risky. So that is so this is the buddhi's job. The intellect's job is just that alone. It is doing that, it is going here, going there, and then just coming to the correct conclusion, an objective conclusion, which is called nishchaya, based on certain, deployment of certain means of knowledge, thinking, and then and sitting with it, deliberation. All these things is the function of the buddhi. But then, as one starts to feel good, okay, I was able to delineate the snake from the rope, and now I have, I have no doubt that it is the rope, and the snake was an imaginary snake projected by the fears. By the chittam. The chittam projected the snake. The buddhi says, no, 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 this is just a harmless rope. And then what? After that comes the ahankara that says, this buddhi is my buddhi. Me. I found this out. I'm going to patent this. I'm going to copyright this. Even intellectual copyright. This is like an oxymoron. There should not be any intellectual copyright. Because who gave you that intelligence? Bhagavan. Whose srishti it is? Bhagavan. And the knowability of this srishti is also Bhagavan. And that's why, more often than not, the Nobel Prize in all the sciences are shared by different scientists and scholars and professors working in different areas. They are shared. They're all shared. And why is it shared? How is it shared? Because the same person, sometimes they're not even working together. Sometimes they are working together, they are colleagues, friends, etc. But sometimes they come up with the same idea. How can somebody in one end of the world and another is sitting in another corner of the world come up with the same idea? Because buddhi given by Bhagavan, idea given by Bhagavan, the knowability given by Bhagavan. So you cannot copyright knowledge, even though it's frequently done. Frequently done. And you have, this is standard practice. On the second page of every book, there is a little C with a circle on it. And that is saying, I am the one who is credited with this idea. You can't take it away from me. So music is copyrighted, ideas are copyrighted, everything is copyrighted. This is the collective identification with the buddhi. That is what the society fosters. Not so it was in the ancient world, especially in the Eastern world. Kung Fu and other marital arts were not copyrighted. Yoga was not copyrighted until some people started to lift it off, and then we were wondering what to do. And so then the government slowly woke up when the basmati rice was grown in Texas and renamed as Texmati. Then the Indian government slowly rubbed its eyes and slowly stretched and woke up and said, oh, we have to do something. And then it stopped when somebody tried to copyright mustard and say, I have discovered mustard. Mustard! Oh my God! Mustard seeds! You haven't discovered mustard seeds. It is 10,000 years old. Part of the paleo diet. And so therefore there is not, you can't just come in the way and then just because you are attached to your buddhi. That is all a buddhi attachment. And this is a mental, intellectual world of all kinds of attachment to the buddhi, collectively fostered and individually nurtured as well. Because, of course, between the individual and the collective, there is a kind of a synergy. Naturally, one feeds the other. And so, this buddhi, this buddhi identification itself is a big pitfall in the knowing of the Atma. And so, therefore, what happens? So, the buddhi and the ahankara are cut down to size during a kind of a spiritual course boot camp. This is what happens. Buddhi is cut to size. You go and say, "Oh, I did this, I did that." Nobody bothers. Everybody is just silent. Nobody bothers. Nobody cares. And so this is the buddhi, and this is buddhimayaha, mayat vikararthe. Or even you can take prachuryarthe in the sense of modification of the buddhi, or even a preponderance of identification with the buddhi. Whereas the Atma is pure and free of the involvement of buddhi. Then the next one, ज्ञातृकर्तृत्वं भोक्तृत्व बध्यघातकादयः अहंकार भव आत्मा शुद्धो निरंजनः ज्ञातृकर्तृत्व भोक्तृत्व बध्यघातकतादयः अहंकार भव आत्मा शुद्धो निरंजनः. Now the ahankara is taken up. Ahankara bhava bhavaha. Ahankara bhava, ahankara jayate iti ahankara bhavaha. These bhavaha, these states and these kinds of beliefs and these kinds of things are what? They are the offshoot of ahankara. Ahankara bhavaha, they are confined to the ahankara. What is the first one? Jnatritva. Owning up the buddhi as my buddhi. My buddhi. I have an IQ of a genius. And this is the one. So owning up that buddhi is called jnatritvam, the status of being the knowership. And then kartritvam, the knowership leads to do worship. I know, and therefore I can do this. And I have great prowess. I am very well equipped. I am very efficient. And I can do this better than anybody else. All these are the kartritva buddhi. Bhaktritva buddhi. I have made my life in such a way that I can enjoy. I have several houses and I can live, one day in one and then fly to another place and live another day in another one. I have so much resources and I have limitless sources of enjoyment. And that one who owns up oneself as the enjoyer alone is called Bhokta, Bhoktritva Buddhi. Bhoktritva Buddhi and Ahankara are very aligned here in this verse. So Bhoktritva means enjoyership, experiencership. And it's not just with good things. Jnatritva Buddhi means what? There is, oh, I don't know enough. I never know. That underconfidence is also part of Ahankara. Kartritvam, I can never do anything right. That is also part of that belief. Owning up that belief is part of the Ahankara. And then what else? Bhoktritva Buddhi. I never have enough. I lack. Bhoktritvam, experiencership. And then Badhya. Badhya means I am killed. Of course, nobody can say that, right? And even if you say it, nobody will hear it because you're speaking without a mouth, disembodied. But if that thought can come, because it is just a ultimate thing that can happen to one in the body-mind complex. So Vadhya means we can say, this Vadhya means I am killed, Ghataka, I am the killer. I am the killer, I am the victim, etc. Adayah, etc. Adipadat, all other things. I am injured, I am wounded, I am fit, all these things. Ahankara bhavaha bhavaha. These are all born of what? Ahankara. What is Ahankara? Ahankara is I notion. The one that attaches to the buddhi and takes itself to be as good as the buddhi. The one that takes itself, that owns up the mind and identifies with the mind, identifies with the sense organs, etc. All right, but Atma Shuddho Niranjanaha. स्मृतिः पूर्वानुभूतस्य प्रत्यभिज्ञा च तादृशी स्मृतिः पूर्वानुभूतस्य प्रत्यभिज्ञा च तादृशी एते चित्तभवा भावाः आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः स्मृतिः पूर्वानुभूतस्य प्रत्यभिज्ञा च तादृशी एते चित्तभवा भावाः आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः स्मृतिः memory. So what is memory? Memory is purvanubhutasya pratyabhijna. Pratyabhijna means recognition. Prati abhijna. Abhijna, recognition. Prati abhijna, the all-round recognition. The recognition of what? Purva anubhutasya, that which has been experienced before. The recollection or the recognition of that which has been experienced before is called smritihi. Smriti, tadrishi smritihi. So, tadrishi means of how it was before. Exactly that memory of how things were before, that is called tadrishi smritihi. And so this purvanubhutasya pratyabhijna. Very nice definition of memory. Memory is that which was experienced before and which is recalled. Okay. Ete chitta bhava bhavaha. So the memory does not belong to the mind, etc. In this particular definition, mind means the vacillating tendency or even the buddhi, although they are all closely aligned. The memory of something that happened before is associated with chitta, the emotive faculty. Because those emotions catch a hold through the memory alone. Pleasant emotion means the pleasant memories, means they give rise to pleasant emotion. Oh, what a lovely holiday. Oh, look at the photos. And this was wonderful. Oh, this was when we went to go on a walk. This was when we went to that particular restaurant. Oh, the food was so good. This was at the beach. And then what? As soon as you say that, sorrow comes. Beach mein, sorrow comes. Beach means in the middle, okay? Yeah, so right in the middle of a wonderful recollection, sorrow comes. Why? I don't have money to go now. All the people I went with then, no one is talking to me. Why? Had a falling out. Why? Because of the buddhi's shenanigans and the mind's shenanigans. Oh, so sad. So the happy memory, also part of chittam. This is the that which immediately turns sour, also part of chittam. Okay. So memory of the beach becomes what? Beach may sad, very sad in the middle of the memory itself. One starts to cry because of a perceived sense of loss. Or one feels victimized. How hard I'm working. When was the last holiday? I don't even remember. And oh my God, this is terrible. This is awful. And so these kinds of memories are just recollections of former events. And it is not encouraged in Vedanta for this precise reason. Because soon, soon one starts grieving. Shochati means grievati. Okay, so if the word grieves is made into the first conjugation, then you have grievati. And so this is what it is. The first, first Harshati, first, becomes ecstatic, and then Grivati, Shochati, then feels sad. Ecstasy, agony, ecstasy, agony. At least if it were alternating, then I have no problem. Oh, now agony is come. Okay, next ecstasy will come. I'll have that predictability. But that's not how it is. As Pujya Swami, she used to say, agony. One is dukhi, a little bit sukhi, a little bit ecstasy, then dukhi. Keeps one going. The little pieces of happiness somewhere keeps one going, even though it's going to turn sour faster than milk can curdle. Okay, and so so therefore this chittam is not worth the giving it the time of day further. ये विश्वतैजस प्राज्ञा जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्तिषु ये विश्वतैजसः प्राज्ञाः जाग्रत् स्वप्न सुषुप्तिषु अवस्था भेदजा भावः आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः अवस्था भेदजा भावः आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः. So now that we have the mind, buddhi, ahankara, etc. under the belt, the author advances a little more. This is a little more involved and little harder to excavate oneself from. And so, what is that? It is the three states of being, famously called as the avasthatraya, three states of being. And what are they? Vishva, Taijasa, Prajna. Vishva means the waker. So that's why the Dakshinamurti starts with the word Vishwandarpana Drishyamana Nagari. Vishwam here in the Dakshinamurti Stotram means the world which is manifest, the manifest world. And the manifest world is not separate from the one who witnesses it. Therefore, the individual who is in the waking state is called Vishwa. The world is also called Vishwa. Interesting. Because where is the world without you being there to name that this is world iti? Is there a world without you being named? Without you naming it? No. That is not possible at all. Not possible. Why? Because when you say that this is the computer, this is a microphone, this is a flower, lotus lily, this is water, this is sunlight, this is reflection, then only those things shine. Otherwise, it's like it's like what is that? Like a rose blooming in the desert. If there is nobody in the desert and nobody sees the rose blooming and no pair of eyes see the rose blooming, no pair of olfactory nerves in the nostrils pick up the fragrance of the desert rose, is the rose even there? That is the question. And it is not a Zen question, even though it sounds like a koan, koan, however you pronounce it. It's not a Zen question, it's a Vedanta question. Zendanta. This is what it is. This is where Vedanta and Zen meet. Zendanta. And this is what it is. Very close to Vedanta, Zen is. And so, what does it say here? What does it say? That the whole world is Jada and you are the only source. You are the only source of sentience and you are nothing like the world. You are nothing like anything in the world, nothing at all. You are unlike anything. You are not part of the world, really. You are the indweller of the world and of the body, mind, sense complex. You animate by your recognition, by your cognition. And what is that cognition? That cognition is awareness, consciousness. That is what recognizes the world. Without an awareness, then, just like the other example, the proper Zen example is when the redwood tree falls in the forest. When the tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Forest means assuming nobody else is there. And if you say yes, the laws of physics will make it make a sound. But then, without a pair of ears, is the sound a sound? Is an uncognized sound, is it a sound argument to call the uncognized sound a sound? Not a very not a very good thing to do, because it just doesn't make sense. So Vishwa means the one who has just woken up. And when you wake up and stretch, the world also wakes up. So first you wake up and then stretch your hands and legs to make sure they are there. That means what? The hands wake up. Wakey, wakey hands. This is how you tell children. Wakey, wakey legs. And then you say, aha, I have this body. Then what is the body lying on? Bed. Oh, okay, I have this bed. So then bed comes to light. First, fingers and toes that are wiggling come to light. Then the bed comes to light. Then you wake up, slowly get up out of bed. Then all the surroundings of the room, the doors, the windows, the outside world comes to light. Comes to light means what? Until now it was sleeping. The world was as good as not there because you were not there to cognize it. Oh, but other people were cognizing it. Yeah, so the world was there for them if they were awake. Some naktanchara, nocturnal being, cognizing the world at night, cognizing how to, recognizing how hard it is to rob this particular apartment. That is what the person is contemplating. And then the person cognizes the police on their beat and gets beaten. That's why it's called the beat of the police, and gets beaten for trying to pry the locks. All right. And so for them, that world is there. But for you who is sleeping, there is no world. What world to talk of? No sun, no moon, no stars, nothing. You are there in your own, you know people, and you can't even call somebody and say, you are my loved one. No love, no loved one, nothing. You are Ishvara in sleep. Pragya. Pragya means prakarshena agnya. Doesn't know anything. That all doesn't know anything in particular. That is the idea. Pragya, it can be done prakarshena agnya or prakarshena asamantat jnata. Both can be done. Both ways you can see. The one who is all knowing, because that all knowing eye never sleeps. The one that is guarding the sleep of this being, the all knowing eye, the one who knows right now I don't know anything, that one. And so that one is called pragya, and that pragya is dead to is dead to everything outside except its own self. It's not cognizing anything. It's not having any transaction. It's not interacting with anything. It is not going anywhere. It is not doing anything. It simply is, and it is with itself. When the finger wiggling, toe wiggling starts, when from pragya one becomes Vishwa. Vishwa means one that is relating to the manifest universe, called Virat, Ishvara. One that is relating to Ishvara in the form of the manifest universe, called Virat. Vividham Rajate. Iti Virat. It is actually Viraj, but then there are rules of how to end the words, because Sandhi rules are there. So, but Viraj becomes Virat or Virad, depending on what follows afterwards. So, Virat. The Ja becomes Ta. So, Virat. So, so this Virat means It's Ishvara in the form of the manifest universe. To which this Vishwa, the one who is cognizing the universe, is connected. Is not outside. The Vishwa is not outside of Virat. That is the idea. Vishwa is included in the Virat. Then what do we have? Taijasa. So the person goes to sleep. First you have to become prajna. Then there is ardha vikasaha. Ardha vikasaha means what? There is a half recognition, a half awakening, REM state or whatever it's called, and the dream state. And in this dream state, what happens? One wakes up and then half wakes up and then sees things. What is there? What do you see? It is all pratyabhigya, it is all memory. They see things which are a combination of memory and desire. Desire and memory. That's how it is. So they see a combination of memory and desire, and then what? And then they revel as a bhokta in the dream world. And that person who is enjoying the dream world is called Taijasa. Tejas, because that self-aware consciousness alone is projecting an inner world, just like that self-effulgent consciousness in the form of Ishvara has projected an outer world. Here the jiva, what is that? The consciousness, which is as though conditioned by the body-mind sense complex, is projecting an inner world based on raga, dvesha, memory and desire. Desire is raga dvesha. Based on raga dvesha and pratyabhigya, memory. And so this inner world, the one who is enjoying, is connected to the to Ishvara, who is the manifester, the visualizer, Hiranyagarbha. That is the one. And so you see, so this is all, what are they? They are the three states. And who am I? None of them. It is very easy, as I have said in other contexts, it is very easy to dismiss the dream. Oh, that was just a dream. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to be chased by all these fellows. It's just a dream. And then what after the dream? Then you can dismiss sleep too. Oh, that's not the real I. One can say, I was just asleep. I didn't know anything. But one firmly thinks and lives in the waking state, believing it to be true, believing it to be absolute. That's why there is so much tension. That's why there is so much worry. That's why there is so much hanging on. In sleep, you can't hang on to anything. In dream, you hang on a bit, but then to the enjoyment of the dream or the experience of the dream. And then you let go because it resolves. And how it resolves is in Ishvara's hands. You just supply the raw material and Ishvara weaves the dream here. You supply the raw material, but the timing of the dream and the extent of the dream comes under the larger world of Hiranyagarbha. You don't decide that. And so, but in the waking state, you are not just a bhokta, you are a karta, you are a pramata, you are a jnata, you are the knower, you are the doer, you are the shaker and the mover of things and all these things. And so therefore, this is exactly the problem. Because that state, the waking state where one is both karta and bhokta, is fraught with samsara, misery. Because you take yourself to be the agent of action, you take yourself to be the recipient of other people's actions, and then what? Grivati starts to feel very, very sad. That's the only, what other recipe is there? No other outcome is possible. And so then, next one, निद्रालस्य प्रमादश्च परिमोहो विषादकः एते तमो भवा भाव आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः निद्रालस्यं प्रमादश्च परिमोहो विषादकः एते तमो भाव आत्मा शुद्धो निरञ्जनः. Now he's going to take the three gunas. So first the three states of, first he covered the five, mano buddhi, the four, mano buddhi, ahankara, etc. Chittam. Then the three states of sleeping, dream, and waking, and are being negated for the Atma. And now he's going to take in verses 11, 12, and 13 the three gunas. And he's going to negate the association, even a lesha, even a hint of association for the person, even a hint of association with the what's its name, with the three gunas. For the Atma is free of all the gunas. And then, so first one, he says Nidra lasyam. Nidra plus alasya. Nidra cha alasyam cha. Nidra lasyam. So Nidra, sleep. And then alasyam. Alasyam is what? Alasyam is procrastination, slothfulness, laziness. Okay. And so Nidra, sleep. And so after sleep or even before sleep, when she doesn't feel like doing anything, I've had a long day. That's okay if one wants to rest, but one says, I have had a long day, even when one hasn't had a long day. One believes one has had a long day. One believes one has accomplished a lot. And one, again, here the buddhi playing tricks on the antahkarana. One believes that one has accomplished a lot. And even though there is no logical or, empirical reason to be tired, one is not interested. There is a sense of depression, or there is a sense of not wanting to engage, or there is a sense of resistance, whatever may be the reason, it's a problem. So that is called alasyam. And then pramada. Pramada means the making mistakes all the time. You do one thing and you are told that this is not a good outcome. And sometimes you don't even need to be told that this is not a good outcome. You see for yourself it is not a good outcome, but then you keep doing the same thing again and again. Like the lady who came to see me and said, what is my problem? Why do I keep buying hot pink colored shirts? I said, well, maybe you like the color. She said, yeah, but I don't look good in it at all. Then I said, you have to tell me why you buy it. How do I know why you are buying that shirt? And then she revealed that she had 15 shirts in all various shades of hot pink, each one hotter than the other. And then she was not able to wear any one of them. And every 2-3 months, like a good Samaritan, taking it to that Salvation Army, Goodwill, etc., giving it away, and on the way back, stopping at the mall and buying a couple more hot pink shirts. She had hot pinkitis, and so this is what it was. She could not stop. So you know the outcome. You know that you're going to go home and just hang it there and forget about it. And then when your closet gets full, go and give it to your relative or give it to somebody. And in fact, the relatives have stopped visiting you, not because of COVID, but because you are going to offer them hot pink shirt. That's why. And still, the person has this compulsive behavior, even though the one knows the outcome very well. Same thing in life. One has certain compulsive actions because somehow by some miracle, the outcome, even though the action is the same, the outcome is going to be different. How is it going to be different? How is it going to be different? Please tell me. If you engage in the same behavior, same outcome will come. How is it going to be different? You can't defy the laws of the universe. No, but Bhagavan says, Karmani eva adhikarahate, ma phaleshu kadachana, the fruits are with me, and you just have the right to action. Yes, but the fruits are, at least as far as the known variables go, it is right there. If you do this, this is the outcome. But somehow the force of the raga dveshas make the outcome, want us to make the outcome different than what it is. One never loses hope, but then that's okay to keep hope. But then one has to use the buddhi and say, this kind of action will not lead to this outcome. Withdraw from the action. And what is the action here? Is keeping on doing things and hoping one will get moksha. That is the repetitive mistake one makes. See, I saved the best for last. So that is the mistake. Is buying hot pink shirts is relatively harmless. Some money is lost and some buddhi is lost and some self confidence is lost. But here, one is subscribing, one has an ongoing, what is that, non-cancelling subscription to samsara. And then one hopes to gain moksha in samsara while reproducing samsara. This is the ascharya. This is the greatest wonder. Greatest wonder is this, that even though there is Vedanta, nobody wants it. Why? Because I'd rather just struggle in samsara and somehow just make sure that I'm free of samsara while being in samsara. Not possible. But this is the repetitive mistake that one makes. And what is the reason? So that is pramada. Then there is parimoha and vishada and all these things, which are all part of the tamas ensemble. Okay, so the tamas ensemble which plays a sad song, and that is these are the accoutrements of tamas. And we'll see that next time. What is today? 13th. So 2 weeks from now, 27th, right? No, is it 27th? Yes,
It's the
is that
30th.
yeah, 27th?
Is it 27?
Can somebody confirm the date?
No, 2 weeks from.
2 weeks from today.
Yes, Swamiji, 27th.
Yes. Abba. Okay. Thank God. Yeah. So, sometimes if you make a lot of noise, answer comes. Okay. So meanwhile, we'll update the thing, the website, and you can put the Mundakopanishad also 2 weeks from now. But wait, Mundakopanishad is meeting tomorrow. Okay. Don't forget that. There is no, what is it called tonight? Bhashya class will not take place tonight. That will meet next Saturday. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you. Very fast it is going. Yeah, welcome. Very fast this is going. Very nice. Take care. Oh.